We're out here in beautiful Sierra Hyros crossover nature. We just had a lot of rain, so the river here is like super flooded out. It's raging and it's a lot higher than we've seen in the past. And we got some supplies in the backpack. We're gonna make an eco jar. It's also a little chilly out here, but we're gonna do the best we can, show you the process, what it's like. And so yeah, we're heading down there, all the way where the water kind of curves. And we'll see you there.
The ones in the sun?
Dude, the ones in the sun are so warm. Like, put your hands on it, it's like, it feels so warm.
We could just sit out here.
I could just like strip and lay down.
It's a little slippery after all this rain on the rocks. But we've got a lot of water flow coming here from the river now. And I will say, it's really good for all the plants around here. All that extra rain. Heading down.
That's like this didn't even have water before. Like now they've got like a lot of water.
Oh, that's cool.
This is like lichen that's turned into a breeding ground for the moss. You can see it'll get nice and tall, and then it'll shoot out its little roots. It'll go everywhere. This whole rock will be covered in like, I don't know, a month. It'll be bright green like this too, nice and bright green, because of the hydration it received. Some cool stuff. In the deeper areas of the cracks between these rocks, and the light little chips of rock, they all fall down into the cracks. And it makes it like a breeding ground for moss, but a lot of molds and stuff as well. So it's healthy that it's fresh water because it's constantly moving that bacteria. And then you get this kind of clay-like substance on the outside of rocks. It's almost like a mud, but it's really just a ton of really tiny rocks.
You can hear how quiet it's getting as we get away from the falls.
Yeah, I know. When that water isn't moving so fast, so nearby, at least that's even, like here. It's even, so there's not much rushing. Not much. That noise gets loud. You almost can't even hear your own thoughts. Sometimes that's a good thing. But, oh man, dude, you gotta check out this moss. Look at this stuff, too. It's all the way down these trees.
Oh man.
They need some good moisture, so the fact that now they've just had this rain. It rained for like 4 or 5 days. And
beautiful.
now it's going crazy everywhere. We have to give it a friendly little scrunch every time we see a good patch of moss. Give it a scrunch.
And we got the extension of the river here is kind of continuing, and it's a little hard to see because of the sun, but it's broken up by some trees and a lot of rocks here. Could be a good spot to grab some for the eco jar.
Yeah, we might try and cross the river over there in the water.
Let's do it.
Into the water.
Oh yeah, here we are. This would be a good spot.
This
Kind of down here on the corner.
Yeah, on the other side you see where the water
The
breaks.
beach is like basically gone though, that little shore.
But we might be able to walk it.
Maybe. We'll see.
You
We'll see. All right, so we've made it to a kind of secluded area right next to what used to be kind of like a shoreline here. Kind of looked like a little beach. And it's all crushed up rocks that have gotten so fine, they kind of create this sand. And so we found a neat little area that's a little more water sodden just because of the rainfall. We're gonna try to collect some sediment for this eco jar and give it a little bit of a base along the bottom.
So this doesn't have to be step one, but it's the most effective at step one. We want some of this dirt, gravel, ground up mixture plopped in the jar. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try and get a little more that's sediment.
We do have a pretty sizable jar for this, so.
You want to pack it down a little, but not too much, mainly on the sides. So when we add water in a little bit, it's going to be shifting around. Gotta try and do this without falling in. But we're just gonna add him in there. Get out that leaf. So this is our little guy so far. We got some oxygen needing plants. So we're gonna leave a little air bubble at the top, but we're gonna go and fill them with water. We like this river, this is good water. But we have another river about 7 miles yonder that way. we're gonna make the trek over there with our jar. We're gonna fill her up.
So we found another body of water that is a lot more still, a lot more calm, and has a lot more sediment.
Speaking of still and calm, if I move just an inch one way or the wrong direction, I'm falling in. Let's fill it up with water.
Look at that goodness.
So I'm gonna take one of these leaves slowly out of the water as I can, because they're covered in all these little brown things, right? And that's the bacteria. And there's probably already enough in there, but I'm gonna shake them off. And you'll see there's much less on there now. So hopefully a couple little micro isopods. There's also some floating moss. I'll grab that. Throw that sucker in there. Anything else we seem to find while we're traversing around this still pond. I'm gonna fall, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna say confidently, we grab a couple of these guys and we put them in the jar too. And the point of this wood being nice and squishy and dense, it still floats. So if we set this up here, we'll have some of this natural moss growing oxygen for the upside of the tank. Now I'm gonna drop some of these beautiful rocks, crystals we found. Boop. Boop.
So we've added a few rocks and a couple little snails actually from the river. And it's taking some time for the water to settle, obviously, but we're already starting to see the sediment gathering down below. And then we've got the moss soaked floating up above.
I know.
We also found this really cool, I'm gonna call it the moss wand. It's extremely balanced. No, it's got a really good little
tuft on there.
yeah, right on the end. And
Might throw him in there too.
we're probably gonna break that off and yeah, add that to the mix.
My thought is, if I measure this correctly and we snap it, some of this will be sticking out the top here.
Oh, yeah.
So,
very accurate measurements, by the way.
thank you. And then at an angle.
A little more.
A little more. There we go. Kind of stick it in the dirt. And give it a little angle. So we can still close the jar, but it's up on the part of the air where the moss can create some more oxygen for its mini nitrogen cycle we got going on. Also, there's this little spider. This guy's cute. I don't know if you can see him.
Oh yeah, he's sunning right now on our...
He's sunbathing on the lid. I'm gonna have to kick you off later, buddy, but
he's enjoying it right now.
Enjoy it for now. We're gonna go meditate while this settles. When it's fully settled, we'll be back to ya. Ooh.
Careful.
Wow. So it's kind of interesting, but it's like the moss is like perfectly carpeted over all these little pieces of crystal. And like you can see how long some of this has just been in here growing. And we're gonna be careful not to take more than we're supposed to, but coochie coochie coo. If you give it a little love, there's like solid pieces of crystal in here. So we're grabbing a few loose ones. I'm gonna collect as many as my grubby little hands can get on, and then we're gonna spray some water on it and give it a little kiss goodbye, and we're gonna keep up the steep mountain here. I don't know if you can catch the steepness of this incline. It's very interesting that towards the lower part here, there's all of these tumbled crystal rocks. So yeah, gonna grab a few and hit the road.
Yeah, it's just really interesting how many things are perfectly stowed here, even in the middle of the moss. It's almost as if some tiny little critters perfectly packed it in, almost like a squirrel would hide nuts or acorns.
The reason we find so much of it tucked up here in the sediment with the moss is because of our friends the Hoggins.
The Hagen comes from the Gestarian word meaning one who dwells with Hyros. So it's literally an idea of Desangran beings, spirits that dwell specifically with the earth.
They make homes, they collect precious to them items, they store them places. You can find all kinds of signs that show you where they've been or where they haven't been for a while. And I would assume both of our knowledge, this is a very active area just because of the whole baglet of goodies that we've collected thus far.
Now keep in mind, it's okay if you stumble upon a spot like this to take a couple things. Just make sure you leave a little something too. And also, don't be greedy. Don't take a ton, just a couple things. They really like honey. Milk is another good one, specifically if you have whole organic milk that was ethically harvested. And yeah, you can also leave small nuts and dried fruits. Anything that they can also in turn offer to the rest of nature around, because they do share a lot with the animals around here.
Here we've got the landscape for, I assume this would be like the American front lawn, right? In our society, we always have like these beautiful landscapes out front. We want to make it the prettiest, better than the neighbors. But you'll find every single neighbor here has these gorgeous large plats of moss out front, what we would consider to be their dwelling, patio, walking areas, regular life spots. And when trees and whatnot die, we have them often promoting this new growth with the lush moisture that's provided in the moss. So we're at the cliff. Coming up this, it's like so steep. It really reminds you how out of shape you are. But without further ado, the final results for the eco jar.
Get a load of this.
So we got air towards the top here. It stops, there's air enough for the oxygen to continue to give the growth some time, as well as, and you can see it probably best from this side, we got little snailies in there.
They're kind of growing in there.
Yeah, there's about 6 of them we put in there.
Moving around.
It won't take them no time at all to be breeding, reproducing, feeding on all the algae and whatnot we left in there. And we went ahead and found some other microbiology throw in there as well, so that way the snails have lots to eat and the plants have lots to get their nutrients from. As well as got a couple bags of rocks, this one, and then this one's only got 1 rock in it. Again, take and be happy to take and be joyful to take, but don't take too much.
That's right, and always leave a little something.
Leave a little something behind.
For the local residents.
But thank you guys for going on the journey with us. And yeah, till next time.
This is Yeshu and Gimirhu.
Peace.
Peace.